Yo, what's going on? Kyle Wilson here. And in this video, I'll be talking about how I made $400,000 in NFTs and how I plan to double that in 2022. We in next to Todd's, we in the office, and we feeling wonderful, man. Pineapple gang, all right? So in this video, I'll be talking about how I made close to $400,000 in NFTs in my portfolio and how I plan to double, if not triple that in 2022. All right, so as you guys know, I'm big into VV, as you can see here with the sign. We got the logo and the big red O. But for me, when I found VV, it was a no-brainer because there was the first appearances of some of the most iconic superheroes and brands coming to the NFT space, and they will continue to have significant meaning for the foreseeable future, if not forever. Like some of these NFTs I could pass down to my children, who can also pass down to their children, and their net worth will be kind of tied to some of these collectibles, and that could definitely retire them as well in the future. So with that being said, VV for me was a no-brainer, and it's why I chose to go so deep on it. And like I said, these are brands people know, trust, and love. And so by default, these are going to be some of the most iconic NFTs, and people are going to have emotional attachment to these because, when you go to the big screen, you see some of these characters and superheroes. So it's kind of a no-brainer. If you are like collecting stuff in the NFT space and it's the very first appearance ever, that's a big deal. I mean, these NFTs aren't going anywhere. They don't, they're not going to, physically deteriorate. So I knew this early on, and for me, I've been in crypto for a very long time. So for me, this was not a new concept, and the ability to, have liquidity and how fast these NFTs move is definitely like a big advantage compared to the physical counterparts, right? So with that being said, I'm going to continue to use that same strategy and hit even harder on it in 2022. And I see other platforms popping up that have not maybe as much potential as the VV effect, but I do see them having some, FA type material that could also be highly beneficial to own. So yeah, I'm going to definitely invest a little bit in those platforms. And like I said, continue to grow my NFT portfolio. One of my favorites is actually Autograph.io. They have, very famous athletes like Tom Brady, Tiger Woods, Rob Gronkowski, Tony Hawk, Wayne Gretzky. I mean, these guys are the greatest athletes of all time, and they're all on one platform. So that's really cool for me to collect some of that stuff. As you can see, I'm a big sports fan. I got Jerry Rice and Kobe Bryant back there. But for me, that's a no-brainer. When these guys have their very first NFTs, though, they definitely are going to build a legacy off that. And so when I see platforms like Autograph.io and some other platforms out there, I'm definitely going to pay attention to what they're doing. Now, VV is definitely my favorite because these are brands that mean a lot to me when I was growing up. Superheroes like Batman, Superman, Spider-Man. I mean, those are some iconic characters that have massive impact, right? So I'm going to continue to use VV, but I'm also going to look at some of these platforms and diversify a little bit. And, I can use some of these funds not only to, live my lifestyle and help my family out, but also use it to diversify into the blue chips, whether that be VV or whether that be some other projects outside of VV in the open sea, marketplace. Some of these platforms or some of these, metaverse, type platforms also are big plays right now. You could look at platforms and games and things like that, like Illuvium, even Phantom Galaxies is coming out soon. So I see these as huge potential plays, and they have limited editions. Like if you look at some of these projects, they're going to be absolutely massive and multi-billion-dollar companies. And these are their very first games. Like they're going to continue to release games like for the next, for the foreseeable future. And it would be like owning a piece of EA game or EA Sports or EA Games or Ubisoft, or, what if you owned a piece of Epic Games if they were initially launching? Like that would be very meaningful, and that would probably make you very wealthy. So I look at some of these other outside of VV type platforms that I see have massive potential for other mainstream use cases like gaming. So I will be using everything I know in my arsenal, in my tool set to invest into these other opportunities. And they also have their own cryptos, okay? So these cryptos are not to be slept on. Like with Vivi, the Ecomi token is very cool because this is their very first. Vivi is one of the first platforms that they have that the OMI token is going to be integrated in. We do not know what if they announce like a mini game, or what if they announce something else where we can use the OMI token as a utility token. So this is very important because the OMI token is also a deflationary token that burns over time. So it's going to be very, very important to own at least some, have a somewhat of a small bag of that Ecomi token. And this is not financial advice because I'm not a financial advisor. This is just entertainment and informational purposes only, but you know what I mean. So I see that being a thing as well with other projects where they have their own ecosystem tokens, and like Illuvium, for instance, like if you've been watching my videos, the ILV token is going to be a big deal because, like I said, Illuvium's their first game and there's a finite amount of Illuvium. So it's good to also diversify in the token itself and really educate yourself on that token ecosystem within that whole universe of that whole project, right? There's Gala with Gala games and things like that. So just take a look at some of these other projects, maybe outside of your comfort zone, and maybe take a look at those. And they can have massive implications for your portfolio, your wealth, and your family. So that's why I'm taking a look outside of Vivi. Now, like I said, Vivi is my favorite platform, and it has the most meaning to me as far as some of these NFTs go. Just because I was a fan and, truly inspired by some of these iconic superheroes. But even the art pieces on there are absolutely amazing. You have Frank Kozik, Jermaine Rogers, and many, many others, right? And there's going to continue to be artists, and there's going to continue to be amazing pieces on the Vivi app that are just going to have significant meaning for so many people. So that's why I'm going to continue to double down on platforms like Vivi and continue to diversify into the blue chips and grails, and continue to scout the entire metaverse, NFT, and gaming platforms as well to see which ones I think have the biggest potentials in the future. All right. So that's my strategy for doubling, maybe even tripling. As you guys know, I have Neo Tokyo. Who's to say that they don't partner up with Twitch? So they do have their own ecosystem token. And if you've been following me on Twitter, Tiger Wilson on Twitter, you would know I'm trying to hint towards you guys and help you guys out and, get these bites while they're still, within reach, right? So, it is definitely a kind of a speculative move. And there's obviously not been any announcements like partnering up with Twitch. But we are, I'm an investor in Neo Tokyo, and there is going to be a tournament on Twitch. But like I said, if you had a Basie, and Basie signed with Adidas, you never know what these projects could do. And yeah, you do have to do your research, and there is a little bit of speculation, but more and more brands are going to start coming to the ecosystem, and they're going to start buying some of these projects or partnering up or signing them. And I see that as a big potential too. Nobody's really talking about it. They're just talking about brands coming into the NFT space, but nobody's talking about brands that are actually going to sign these NFT projects. And I think there's a little bit of potential there too. So with that being said, that's all I got for this video. Smash the like if you enjoyed it. Hit that subscription bell so you don't miss any more videos like this, so you can stay ahead of the crowd. But with that being said, I will see you guys in the next video at the blockchain. And as always, be like an NFT, be authentic, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.